Hey guys, you see the title, right? You're ready to get a little creeped out? Man, hey man, just protect your children because these ladies are coming for them. And whew, I'm not laughing because it's funny though.
And then I wonder if also if that would be considered rape. Of course, the answer is yes. That's considered technically.
Well, statutory rape.
It's considered
but
statutory rape. First of all, would you even do that?
This 13-year-old, I think I
He could have
would.
easily passed for
Like,
15.
okay, if I
He could have
were
easily passed for 15.
barely though, he wasn't necessarily like an old-looking 13. You look at him and he's definitely a child. He's just like really like he had the perfect
A
tan
child
and this
doing
beautiful
adult
hair and
that shouldn't be considered statutory rape. And like it's consensual and I was like, yeah.
no, that definitely no one would
I don't
consider
think
that rape except maybe his mom.
I don't think
And that's
law.
only if she's like a total yeah, and the law.
I don't think there's a person. I mean, are we tripping right now? Are we being delusional? Is there anyone that has a problem with that? I mean,
No.
I think there's not one person that would think that's abuse and would just think how lucky that kid is.
Pretty much.
I mean, and we're talking about Asa and this 13-year-old kid.
I would advise Asa not to do that.
No, I'm just.
We're not
talking about. We don't want the legal answer. We're just saying, is that a problem for you if that happens?
Like, would you feel morally dirty if I went to the other room?
Yeah.
This kid, like, would you
No.
look at me different?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, not maybe would you look at me different, but like, would you think that I'm doing something wrong? Would you feel bad for the
I would be
kid?
so proud of both of you guys. I'd be happy.
I would be sad for the kid because I'd be like, he won, but I'd be sad for you because you're going to the pokey.
Why would I go? Who's gonna tell? No snitching.
Snitches. What is
Money
snitches?
Snitches
As,
get
as
stitches.
a father who has sons in
Yeah.
in that range, what would you say?
Well, we have the law. So.
All right.
Yeah, let's put that to the side.
Let's ignore the law for a second.
We-
30.
Wouldn't that
You'd be fucked because you'd go to prison and you really
We're
wouldn't
not
get the
talking
pokey.
about the law right now. Law. What are you, a like
Snitch?
do-gooder or something?
I'm a snitch.
Are you a snitch? Oh yeah. Would you snitch on us?
It sounds like you would because
Yeah.
you're so sure we'd go to
Yeah.
jail.
What do you? We would never go to jail.
I would just hurt you guys.
What are you
What?
talking about? What are you, the protector of 13-year-olds or something?
I think somebody has
What a
to.
nerd.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what did you think about that? They were talking about inviting a 13-year-old, giving him Pepsi, like grooming style for him to be there, talking about how they can just go bow chiki bow wow, and why would that be wrong? I mean, just don't think about the law. But morally, he's just having fun. He's gonna have a great time, right? I mean, if they would ask me, I would say, well, I think by the moment you had sex with my kid, the way he's going to view the world, how engaging you want to be with him, you will just change the way he's gonna think. And of course, there are gonna be some 17-year-old, 16 years old that had sex with certain people at a certain age. But this guy is freaking 13. There's enough study that says they feel lucky. They feel like they earned the world, something like that. And you know what happens after them? Look at all these artists, athletes and everything, and they reach the top of the world. What usually happens with them once they got everything they could have had? Depression, right? So what do you think is gonna happen to a kid that wants to have funky again? And now he's going downhill and he's not getting that gangster thing. Certain kids don't survive that. That's just an idea? No, you can just do the research. There's enough research of kids that have funky, felt the king of the world in the beginning. And later, oosh. But now let's look quickly at the article because that's interesting too. This lady is an adult actress. This is from a podcast in 2012 with an artist, David Koh. She is called Asa Akira. You can search her name if you want to watch her in action. Anyway, clearly, people that usually are in porn have experienced some type of abuse and they might minimalize specific things. They just bang them for fun because they can. The fact that she could talk like that on a podcast as if it was nothing, right? A guy can't do that. You can even talk. That's already like a big problem. But the fact that she talked like that, whoo, But then, well, what's gonna happen now? Well, she's gonna tweet something, bada bing, bada boom. Well, I'm sorry, bada bing, bada boom, the usual. Because if you have a bad tweet back in the day, it's okay, right? Sometimes. Well, not really, but it depends. But if a woman does that, maybe it will backfire. Yeah, it does backfire. But if you talk about grooming, give the kid Pepsi and all those things, I don't know. I think that's a different thing, right? In a shocking expert from interview, Akira and Co are explaining the moment they invited the young boy to join them in the jacuzzi while at a beach house. So we have this great house with this great jacuzzi where we're sitting from and we get a great view of the giant waves, says Chloe. He's a 13-year-old boy. He's psyched, woohoo, because he gets free Pepsi. His parents aren't there. And then Akira, a Pornhub ambassador. Sickening Stay says she would have graped the boy. This 30-year-old, I think I would, she said. He wasn't necessarily an old-looking 30-year-old boy. You look at him, and he's definitely a child. The group moved on to discuss whether the act would be considered statutory rape. That shouldn't be considered statutory rape, like it's consensual. Well, it might be possible, but hey man, I think even if most men might survive that, mentally there might be a lot of things, but we have to make these things equal. And the fact that they can talk about it so comfortably, I know some people that had some fresh action in the beginning. I'm not saying they're angry, sad, or whatever, but I can't say they didn't go on a roll of funky 24/7 and they're never satisfied though. I've seen it happen. It's sad. I hate it when I see people that have 1,000 women and see how much they appreciate how I could have not participated in that party. That's all I'm saying. That's why there's a law. The law isn't there to protect people. The law is there to protect the whole freaking generation because they know the consequence. Is there anyone that has a problem with that? There's not one person that would think that's abuse. Would you just think he was just a lucky kid? And then Akira says, no, that's definitely not. No one would consider that great, except maybe his mom. And one said, F the law. Well, people, I can just go read all the article, but the thing is also with Pornhub is that there was a time a lot of these videos were from underage girls or something like that. And then I believe MasterCard and Visa said, if you don't fix this system and remove all those videos, or at least the people that upload, make them register so we can confirm they're doing something wrong, so they had to delete a bunch of videos. And even if they deleted a bunch of video, at the same time, in June, Pornhub parent company MindGeek was accused by 34 women of profiting from features of them without their consent. The case filed in California court stated that the plaintiff alleged they were victims of sex trafficking. So yes, man, there's like a lot of weird things happening there for women and men, and I don't know, but all I'm trying to say is, it's just a weird situation, but people are trying to normalize a lot of things. And the idea is that if you think about it, if they're trying to normalize that they want to have funky with men, right? Woman with men. What do you think is going to happen when it starts switching that men, woman? You see, it's like they're going in a weird direction. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind a 16-year-old maybe with a 19-year-old or something like that. Those are like different story. For me, at least, I don't see like the huge difference. There are certain countries you can even have consensual funky at 16. Hey man, you do you. I'm not there. I know a bunch of 17 years old when they become 18, there's not like a huge moral thing that happened in their brain. But I'm not the one making the law. I'm not participating. But if you ask my opinion, I can understand that maybe the line is understandably blurry. But a 13-year-old that comes there because you invited him in your home without the parents around, and they're talking about funky, and then you're asking your friend, well, what do you think about that, about your son, bada beam? Do you think, are you gonna snitch, bada beam, bada boom? I don't know. How do we know that she didn't funky somebody? What is the result? I mean, if you do it nice, hey, it's still weird. But the fact that you invite, if it's a woman, what would the reaction be? What is the explanation that they say about a woman? The power thing, bada bing, bada boom. She might fall in love, bada bing. What about the man? Why is it like a non-existing thing? Why does nobody understand the depression and the things that happen to certain kids? I don't know. I just thought it was so weird. It would surprise you how many ladies are having funky with men, young men. If you don't believe me, look at this beautiful Instagram lady that has a bunch of views on Instagram, and she goes once in a while showing some beautiful body position and randomly, hey man, I'm in Dubai or something like that.
My name is Aliana Lozada Gonzalez and I'm 26 years old. I'm willing to come to Dubai to Sultan Ali. In Dubai I will have a STD check and Mr. Ali too. After that, we are having unprotected sex and I will let Mr. Ali lick the humus of my feet. I will also fuck his virgin brother, who is 13 years old, and I will let him lick my pussy and fuck me anal. I agree to have sex with his virgin 13 years old brother, and I will give him a blowjob, and I will also let Mr. Ali fuck me anal, and Mr. Ali is paying me $50,000 US for this, and I will receive $25,000 US 2 weeks before I come to Dubai. This is my passport. And thank you so much, Mr. Ali, for the invitation, and I can't wait to finally meet you.
So what I'm just trying to say, man, girls are doing what they can, and sometimes it's weird. Luckily, they get recorded now. We realize that some of these ladies can be very, 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 very gangster, just like men. So let me know what you guys think. I thought it was kind of weird. If such a beautiful, sexy lady invites my 13-year-old son, first of all, I would be suspicious. Second of all, you can get all the men in your movies. Why did you go for such a young boy? The fact that you're there, I don't know, man. It's a weird world, but it's not gonna happen to my son. You know why? I have a family. I spend time with them. I don't release them to random people. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Like, share, bada beam, bada boom. If you like the story, comment what you think. Would you like your son do the action? And see you guys next time. Peace.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam turloqueta verdeta welcome. Den vida mi a tu iniciativa, padre ku indica y también que es un sativa. Te hinda no que acepta ku eta medicina Bob di nang di eta causa rebeldía. Cooking, ahindang saki mi kemen.